Focus is not built. Most people believe it is a resource to be gathered, a muscle to be trained, a state to be entered through discipline. They are trying to create something that cannot be created. Focus is what remains when everything else has been removed. In the 1640s, a swordsman named Miyamoto Musashi withdrew to a cave. He had killed more than 60 men. He had perfected techniques that made him undefeatable. He wrote his final text in isolation. When he finished, he wrote a second document, 21 sentences. No explanation, no teaching, 21 ways he had learned to live. He called it the path of aloneness. He did not call it wisdom. He did not call it a method. He wrote it. Then he died. The document describes removal, not addition. Most of what people call focus is negotiation. They bargain with distraction. They make deals with comfort. They believe they can keep what they want and still see clearly. This is the mistake. You cannot focus while refusing to let go. Consider pleasure. Pleasure is not dangerous because it feels good. It is dangerous because it returns. Once the body learns a pattern of comfort, it begins to expect it. The mind organizes itself around that expectation. You believe you are choosing your actions. In reality, the cycle is choosing for you. The cycle feels voluntary. That is its nature. Musashi wrote, "Do not seek pleasure for its own sake." He did not write this because pleasure is wrong. He wrote it because pleasure becomes structure. Structure becomes constraint. If you cannot sit in a room without something to make the time pass, you are not free in that room. If you cannot let a day end without a familiar comfort, the day controls you. The absence of the thing becomes unbearable. That means the thing was never optional. It was holding you up. This is not about denial. Denial is still attachment. Denial means you are still thinking about the thing, still measuring your distance from it, still using it to define yourself. Removal is different. Removal is watching the need dissolve because you are no longer feeding it. Resentment works the same way. Resentment is a story you tell about fairness. Someone took something from you. Someone was chosen instead of you. Someone acted in a way that should not have been allowed. The story makes sense. It feels justified. And because it feels justified, you keep it. But resentment requires maintenance. You have to revisit the event. You have to remind yourself of what was owed to you. You have to reconstruct the injustice so it stays vivid. This is not passive. It costs you something every time. You are spending energy to keep a wound open because closing it would mean letting someone escape unpunished. Musashi wrote, "Do not harbor regrets. Regret and resentment are the same structure. Both require you to live in a version of the past that can never be corrected. Both bind you to people who will never apologize. Both demand that you stay loyal to a grievance. The person you resent is not thinking about you, but you are thinking about them. You are maintaining a connection they no longer even remember. To stop resenting is not to forgive. It is to stop participating. The event remains factual. The injustice remains real. But you are no longer organizing your attention around it. You let it become inert. And then there is solitude. Most people tolerate solitude. They pass through it on the way to something else. They endure it when connection is unavailable, but they do not choose it. They do not sit in it without distraction, because solitude is where preference becomes visible. You think you want clarity, but clarity requires that you see what you actually reach for when no one is watching. It requires that you sit long enough for the habits to surface. Most people do not want this. They want the idea of clarity. They want the feeling of progress. But they do not want to see how much of their life is reaction. Musashi lived alone. Not because connection was unavailable. He had students. He had patrons. He could have lived in comfort. He chose otherwise. He chose the kind of silence that does not permit escape. In solitude, you cannot defer. You cannot explain yourself into a better position. You cannot be misunderstood because there is no one to misunderstand you. You are left with exactly what you are doing, not what you intended, not what you planned, what you are doing. This is not peaceful. Solitude is not rest. Solitude is exposure. Most people will not do this. They will continue to negotiate. They will continue to manage their distractions, improve their routines, optimize their intentions. They will treat focus as a problem to be solved with better strategies. But focus is not the solution. Focus is what is left when you stop solving. Musashi did not teach his students to concentrate harder. He taught them to carry less. The sword becomes faster when the grip is lighter. The mind becomes clearer when it stops defending what it holds. You cannot think your way into this. You can only remove enough that it becomes obvious. And it will not feel like victory. It will feel like exposure.